Hi, my name is Emma Karlok, and I am the AmeriCorps Outreach and Education Assistant for the Nature Conservancy's Volgenaw, Virginia Coast Reserve. Today, we're on a boat dock at Brownsville Preserve, where we are going to explore oyster reefs and the habitats they provide. Tied to the dock and fully submerged in the water are what we call oyster cubes. These are old pieces of crab pots that are held together with zip ties. Oysters and other organisms find the nooks and crannies of these cubes ideal for growing and developing. This has created a model habitat of an oyster reef. Here, we are cutting away the zip ties that hold it in place so that we can examine the cube's contents. The creatures you would typically find in an oyster reef include oysters, of course, but also barnacles, anemones, and sponges. On these oysters, you can see these thick orange little branches. This is red-beard sponge, an organism that is classified as an animal. It latches on to oyster reefs so that it can be stable while it filter feeds. Barnacles are also found on oyster reefs. The body of a barnacle is protected by its ring-shaped shell, and it also becomes stable for feeding by attaching onto an oyster reef. Here you can see a mud crab hiding in one of the crevices that's been created by these oysters. These crabs have hard shells and claws used to protect themselves, but they also find shelter in the oyster reef. Lastly, we found this grass shrimp, which can often be found in shallow waters of the bay, eating algae or eating small crustaceans. Once we packed away all of the oysters and resealed the cube, we put it back into the water to allow the habitat to keep growing. Using what you know about the organisms we found in this oyster cube, list at least one adaptation that each organism might use to help it survive in this environment.